Kia ora everyone, my name is Anna Mooney, I'm 24 and I'm currently studying towards my master's degree, and I'm one of more than the 50% of New Zealanders that calls a rental property home. I've been renting in Wellington for 4 years now, and I've experienced many of the problems that plague the majority of renters at some time, caused by our broken rental system in New Zealand. The Wellington properties I've lived in have largely been of poor quality, probably the worst being a bottom-storey apartment on Vivian Street. The apartment was one that sunlight never touched and walls dripped with moisture, leaving our clothes and furniture covered with that familiar lawn of green mould. Consequently, I had recurring cases of strep throat, and my asthmatic flatmate got so ill that her doctor had to ask our property manager to release her from the lease early because of her rapidly deteriorating respiratory health. We were also told consistently that it was our behaviour that was to blame. The property manager once remarked that my flatmate's room was only so damp because she had her partner sleeping there. With 2 people breathing in the room, what else could she expect? Late last year, our landlord announced that they were selling up, so in February, we were among the hundreds of renters scrambling to find a place to live. After a few weeks of frantic searching, viewings, and at least 20 applications, we were finally offered a property, and of course we jumped on it without even viewing it first. This of course came with huge compromises. It was much more expensive than our old place and in worse condition, but we counted ourselves very lucky to be able to secure somewhere to live with a responsive landlord who didn't mind us bringing our cat along. But we've found that as winter has crept in, so again has the mouldy clothing and constant illness, as well as days taken off work and uni. In my experience, these issues have been exacerbated by the power imbalance that exists between landlords or property managers and their tenants. While there are laws and regulations in place to protect tenants, this often isn't enough without active enforcement, and I've found myself hesitant to exercise these rights as a tenant for fear of losing a property. And this hesitation has stemmed from hard-learned experience. In another previous property, our bathroom had inadequate ventilation and no windows, and subsequently paint began to peel from the roof. The property managers requested that we pay for it, and of course we asserted that the peeling paint was something we had no control over, and we refused to cover the cost. The following week, despite an earlier verbal agreement that we were to renew our fixed-term tenancy for another year, the property managers said that we were no longer able to renew, and we were again left looking for another flat. I'll think hard before asserting my rights as a renter again. Despite these experiences, I know that I'm in a position of privilege. I have enough money to afford rent, and if not, I have a supportive family that I know I can ask for help. I'm in good health and can bounce back from mould-induced illness, and I'm also well aware of my rights as a tenant. But what about renters who don't have these privileges? What about families, older people, and other vulnerable people? So my story tonight has illustrated just some of the issues that affect renters all around New Zealand. Poor quality, lack of availability of rentals, inaffordability, a lack of security of tenure, and inadequate enforcement of the existing laws. As we've heard this evening, housing is in a state of crisis, and many New Zealanders, including myself, are facing the reality that we may never own our own home. So what I ask of our politicians here this evening is, what are you going to do to ensure renters get what they deserve? An affordable house that is safe and healthy, somewhere that they will not face intimidation, uncertainty, and discrimination. A home. Thank you.